have the not Marshall Mathers, but Slim Shady OP. I think this is good, so we'll put it in the B. Like, a lot of the material on this album definitely didn't age well, I was to say the least, but there are some bangers on here. Of course, My Name Is, Brain Damage, Guilty Conscience with Dr. Dre. Of course, you have Rock Bottom, as well as If I Had. And you, of course, have like the dance track, Come On Everybody. Even though he's this unhinged, like, in his lyrics on the record, this record definitely is a nice job when it comes to production and flows and rhyme schemes and the overall introduction to this Slim Shady character in 1999. So yeah, it's definitely a good project. Very good project. Very good project. Next up, we have his sophomore LP, the Marshall Mathers LP. And this is an album that many fans and critics alike say this is his best. And to be honest with you, I do too. Like, there's simply no fucking with an album like this, considering the flow and rhyme schemes and production went even further on here. And we'll put this up here for the time being. So this album showed Eminem in a very dark place, especially with explaining his relationships with his fans, with his Kim, with his mother. And of course, you have The Way I Am, which actually is a note to fans saying that, y'all need to fuck off and stop trying to ask me for autographs when I'm trying to eat and feed my daughter. Which I thought was very bold. It was very ballsy to do that. And to have someone like Eminem to do something like that, it's pretty powerful. Of course, you have, Stan with Dido. I mean, who could forget about that? One of the best storytelling tracks of all time. And the depiction of a Stan, and I actually heard about that, is actually getting a documentary on that whole lifestyle or whatnot. Just recently, was just announced. And of course, you have the features on this album. Of course, Sticky Fingers, Exhibit, Dr. Dre comes back, Snoop Dogg. And honestly, it's such a pop. It's such an amazing record. Like, there's no fucking with this in Eminem's catalog. There's not a single album that really comes close to an album like this. So yeah, I could be glazing the fuck out of this, but it's really, I think it's Eminem's best work for sure. And that just being his sophomore album. So yeah, let's keep going. Actually, we have 8 Mile. If it's the soundtrack as a whole, I can't really talk about it. However, now if it's Lose Yourself, if that's the only one, that would be clearly going up in an S tier if it was just Lose Yourself, but I'm sure that's just 8 Mile, like the soundtrack. But so I can't really speak on it. But Lose Yourself, I'm not gonna lie, impacted a lot of things in pop culture. And with, of course, the Mom Spaghetti references and all that shit. And Eminem really seemed to be expressing a time when he was really rapping as if the rent was fucking due and really desperate to garner an audience. And honestly, it shows Eminem being more motivational, very motivational. It's one of the best motivational songs in hip-hop history. And honestly, I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. So yeah, let's move on. Next, we have The Eminem Show from 2002. Now, this was his third album at the time, his first full-length album. And I would say that this is definitely a great one, for sure. But other than that, I would have to also say that the theatrical elements aren't there anymore. This album is kind of more on, like, his feelings and what it must be like to, like, be in the spotlight as a white rapper in a predominantly black and hip-hop realm. So, of course, you have, obviously, Without Me, like, the big comeback single, which honestly it's obviously amazing. I mean, who could forget about that goddamn horn section on the chorus, like, especially at the last leg of the track. And of course, you have Haley's Song, which I'm a bit skeptical on because of the damn singing. I don't mind my Dad's Gone Crazy as a closer, but you could have gone with Till I Collapse with Nate Dogg, which is amazing. And of course, Business is underrated as fuck. And White America actually has him going into like this thing about, of course, the political climate of America. And honestly, it's very, very fucking empowering, especially with that damn production in the back. So yeah, it's overall a great album. Yeah, yeah. Let's keep going. Okay, next up we have Encore. It's over 21. It's like over 20 years old. It came out 2004, and I listened to this like a couple months ago, almost a year ago at this point. And my question still remains to this day: is what the fuck happened? Like, what the fuck happened to this streak of albums that were at least levels of quality that did not appear on this record? I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the secret behind this album, I mean, it's really no secret by this point. I mean, if you know about his opioid addiction, that was really challenging him to muster up some good flows, good lyrics, good choruses most of the time. Yeah, I don't get what the hell he was doing. It was almost as if he was trying to go back to like that Slim Shady LP era. So I was trying to be like, "Hey, this is over the top. This is over the top, goofy Slim Shady." When it's actually this time it's not even that funny, and it seems like it was very unfunny, especially with a track like "Just Lose It." I mean, of course, the whole Michael Jackson shit. Me being a Michael Jackson fan myself, I mean, even now to this day, I mean, it's still not that funny. I mean, even the whole album as a whole, it's really not that funny at all. But of course, you have the best song on the record, in my opinion, "Mockingbird," an open letter to Haley, which is pretty heartwarming. Pretty heartwarming for Eminem to do that. And he would do that pretty often from here on out. But yeah, I'll just put this shit in D. Yeah, this shit is kind of bad. Next up, we have "Relapse" from 2009 from his hiatus. And it seems like this was a bit of like a concept record, as it was really as in that he was actually going through like a relapse of sorts, especially from that addiction he was going through. Luckily, we still have him to this day, because honestly, he actually could have died from that shit. And so for this album over here, I would say it's solid. It's surprisingly solid. Eminem definitely sounds hungry again. I mean, we do get bangers such as, of course, "My Mom," 3 a.m., which has grown on me since I first listened to it. Of course, you have "Crack a Bottle," and I heard the track "That We Made You" was a huge fucking risk, apparently. So yeah, even I like that track. God. Oh, the one with 50 Cent, of course, "Crack a Bottle." I should like that one. So yeah, I do think this project is solid. Is it as good as the? Is it as good as the? Is it that good? Is it as good as the Slim Shady LP? I don't think so. We should put it here. We should put it here. Let's put it here. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got "Recovery," his album just a year later in 2010. Which I mean, he was really hungry to get back into the hip hop game. So, what do I think about this album? It's alright. Yeah, it's alright. I mean, honestly, I mean, you could have. I mean, this album is really very fucking pop friendly. It sounded so fucking mainstream, which is not always a bad thing. I actually don't mind when artists do try to actually go mainstream with their album and their sound. But for this one, it didn't really make the choruses recover after Encore. And of course, you have what the fuck was that track? "No Love" with Lil Wayne. I actually do like it. However, the samples kind of just thrown in there. Not much is just used to it. Not much is added on that track. At least not in my opinion. I do like "Cinderella Man," though that is like a personal highlight for me as well. Of course, the lead single, Not Afraid." I'm not afraid. Like, it's so over the top, but I actually do enjoy it. I actually do think that's like his like wake up call of like saying it. I'm here. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I'm back, bitches. I'm back, motherfuckers. So yeah, I think this album is decent and solid. However, it definitely doesn't measure up to anything his first 3 albums did. So yeah, we'll just keep that in the C. Next up, we have the Marshall Mathers OP2, and I actually enjoyed this a bit more than the two previous albums there. And I think personally, I have not much to say outside this record, as that fact that I think Eminem was actually able to come through with a good record, and that he can do this if he just lights a fire under his ass. Of course, you have Rap God, which honestly, the comedy and like the wit and the use of like purposefully being cringe has pretty much been a weapon of his. But some of the things kind of just sound dated, at least specifically on Rap God. On Legacy, the song, specifically the rhyme scheme, just sounds kind of basic. I mean, Legacy, me, C, guarantee. It was kind of odd. Of course, you have Berserk as well. I mean, trying to do a bunch of rock shit, rock infused music with hip hop, it's like it did not work. It didn't work with Lil Wayne and Eminem. So why did you do this? Okay, so we'll put in B though. We'll put in B though. Oh, and that Kendrick figure was not too bad, but also not that great either. Next up, we have Revival. Yep, let's move on. Next up, we have Kamikaze from 2018, and this was actually his response to the negative feedback that he got, overwhelming feedback he got for Revival, which I gotta say, initially, I thought it was like a good response, a solid response. In hindsight, just a year later after listening to this record, not that great of a response, because he breaks down like the most basic, half-assed, dumb and boring arguments, saying that, oh, I'm an artist, you guys are artists, and as well as bitterly attacking young artists such as Tyler the Creator. Like, it's so fucking weird that he would even do this as the guy that he is, that he doesn't give a fuck. Like, by this point in his career, it seems like he's measuring up to the fucking shit he did in the past. Can he still out-rap motherfuckers? Yes. However, I don't know if that make up for some of the production choices on here too. So yeah, I'll comfortably put this in the goddamn C. Yeah, it's not that great of a response. It's mid. It's mid. Next up, we have Music to Be Murdered By, which is his comeback to like his horrorcore elements of music. Of course, with Darkness, I actually do like that song a bit, as it kind of expresses the school shootings that was happening at the time, if I'm correct. And of course, Godzilla. I'm a fan of it. I understand that a lot of millennials or like older fans of the song, older fans of Eminem, are not really digging this, but I personally do. Maybe because of my age. Maybe, I don't know. I do like the Juice WRLD hook. I do like that bit. But all of it doesn't really measure up. Again, a lot of the rhymes in this shit. One in particular, I believe he says something about I'm Ed, like call me Ed Sheeran, something about call me Ed Sheeran, so I'm the gingerbread man. Like it's one of many bars I thought was very questionable on here. So yeah, we'll put this in the. Is it barely Kamikaze? Yes, because it actually got nothing to do with Revival. Let's go. Okay. Next up, we got his most recent record, The Death of Slim Shady. Now, I'll say this. Hold on. Let me put it back for the meantime. Okay. Let me say this. I got some shit for what I had said about this fucking record, specifically when it comes to classic Slim Shady. Like, it was so fucking weird. I had this one motherfucker on my TikTok in my comments specifically saying like, oh, bro brought up something about that Houdini brings back classic Slim Shady. He put in fucking quotes, and something about that Brand New Dance was a show song from Encore. Like, if you could have been more fucking obvious about that one. And also, does it not bring back? Does it not pay homage to like that era of Eminem? Like the music video. Hello, are we forgetting the music video? Sure, the person probably knows this by this point, but I was like, bro, like I know for Brand New Dance, I fucking knew that shit because it sounds a lot like Just Lose It. But if we're getting this era of Slim Shady, I'm not expecting much good lyricism either, or at least enticing lyricism. Well, I do like Brand New Dance a lot. Actually, I think it's one of my favorite songs on the record. It's like it's still over the top, like being goofy or trite. Like it's fine. Like it's fine. Like, and the concept of the record, it wasn't that fully hard to grasp because it's so in your face. Like in the first, in more than one track, like it's not that hard to grasp. Like again, like it's so weird how he was able to why he was able to even do that. It's almost as if he was afraid that his fans wouldn't get the concept right away. And of course, the woke shit. Like, come on, come on. I understand it's Eminem. Like, he's trying to get people mad. Like, we've seen this before. However, at this point, a lot of that shit is dated, my man. Sure, some people saying it. Yes. Does that mean if you're still trying to make people mad? Does it make it good? No, not always. At least, like shock value is for Eminem is not a factor anymore. At least not in my opinion. Even though he's known for that, it's kind of died out by this point in his career. But yeah, I'll comfortably put this shit in, like I definitely like this more than these. So yeah, that's my list. Like, if do you agree, do you disagree? I mean, I'm sure a lot of motherfuckers are gonna disagree with me, especially when it comes to fucking relapse. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna see y'all later.